Alright, I'm declaring this a day of celebration, because it didn't happen today, but it is official. Deadpool and Wolverine is the highest-grossing R-rated movie worldwide.
Yay! Good.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't affect us one way or the other. We're not seeing any of that money, but screw Joker is the important point.
It affects us in spirit.
Yeah, it lifts my spirit to know that Joker is no longer the highest-grossing R-rated movie worldwide, and I'm only bringing it up here because it wouldn't have come up with the way I've revamped this weekend's box office section, so...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why we're celebrating it here, so boom, confetti.
I'm Jimmy Johnson. Boom, confetti.
Welcome to Under the Bridge, everybody.
Welcome to Under the Bridge.
I'm Cody, aka the Scarlet Troll.
And I am Greg, aka Greg. God damn.
Did you forget your name?
I don't know what I forgot there just now.
Anyways, this is our podcast.
I forgot what I forgot.
And this is our podcast where we talk news of the pop culture variety. Sometimes comic news, sometimes gaming news, pretty much always movie news, and also pretty much always a movie review.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't have a zippy segue there.
Unfortunate. I got some comic news that I just found out.
Oh boy.
Well, just meaning today.
Alright.
So you haven't seen any of What If, right?
I have not.
Okay.
Oh wait, no. I remember watching the first season of What If.
Okay, but you haven't seen season 2.
I have not seen any of season 2.
Okay, well, the original character they introduced in that one episode where the Tesseract landed in a lake in pre-colonial America? I guess it was colonial contemporary America?
Right.
I'm not a history buff, that's the point. Anyways,
yes.
The one set in the past, where they introduced the new character Kahhori.
Right.
And she got Tesseract powers, and it was a cool episode. I liked it. I think it was one of my favorites for season 2, which is quite surprising because I was very... What's the word I'm looking for?
Impressed?
Cautious. No, I was cautious initially about the idea of introducing completely brand new characters into a What If show because that felt contrary to the idea of doing a What If in the first place. But I was very intrigued by this episode, and I feel like actually setting it so far in the past that it's completely disconnected from any of the main movie events actually worked in its general favor. The point is, like so many others before her, Kahhori is going to be making the jump to comics this November, I want to say?
Okay.
Yeah, 11/6. She will be debuting in Kahhori, Reshaper of Worlds #1, a Marvel Voices special. This is probably a one-off, don't know for sure, but that's neat!
Yeah, that is pretty neat, because I feel like you said, original characters being introduced in What If is kind of a cautious thing to do, but I'm kind of sitting there and I was like, I'm surprised that they introduced a original character in What If, or in anything, that they eventually go, you know, we like this one, we're going to give her her own comic line. Like, I think that's the more surprising thing for me personally.
That's not that uncommon. The phenomenon of characters in comics getting their start in other media adaptations and then making the jump is maybe not more common than you might think, but it happens to more notable characters than a lot of people initially suspect who aren't following up on it. Case in point, Harley Quinn. She's not comics original.
I was going to say, like, Harley Quinn is the only other example that I personally know of.
Phil Coulson.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah, no.
Didn't they also put Fitzsimmons in the comics, too?
Yeah, the entire S.H.I.E.L.D. team made the jump, but that's not as important because they didn't get as much notice.
Fair.
No, Coulson made the jump, and they made him he's a big superhero fan, and then he died in Secret Empire because Deadpool killed him while working for Nazi Cap, thinking that it was just Cap with a secret plan, and then it turns out Coulson actually went to hell because he used to waterboard people as a soldier, and then he ended up working for Mephisto, and he got brought back to life, and he tried reshaping the entire world with the Cosmic Cube, and that was a whole big stupid thing, and now I think he's trapped in something called the Helahedron. I don't know.
This is why I don't read the comics.
Yeah, that's fair.
This is why I stay far the fuck away from the comics.
Usually I'd say, this is why I read comics, but in this particular instance, no, that's a fair play. That's a good call.
Once again, Cody has reaffirmed, not getting into the comics is a very good idea.
Look, reading some lines here and there isn't that bad. If you ever want to borrow Agent of Asgard.
I'll put it in the notepad for later.
So no, this is interesting. Obviously, her being an alternate universe character, presumably. I mean, maybe they'll be like, yeah, this happened in the past, that the Cosmic Cube landed on Earth and it infused a lake and a member of a native tribe did develop superpowers. Maybe they'll do that. I don't know. Actually, it's kind of hard to tell. Maybe that is what they're doing.
Somebody poison the water hole! Because that's pretty much what that is.
Way to do Disney's job for them. Toy Story 5, coming to theaters summer 2026, I think.
Oh, that's sad.
I hate it.
Where you're both laughing and crying at the same time, for those who can't tell.
Yeah.
Mm.
Anyways, Nicolas Cage is going to be starring in a new biopic, and you'll never guess who it's of.
Wait. Fuck. Is this comics related still?
No.
Or okay, Nicolas Cage is starring in a biopic. Can I get a hint?
I don't know how to give a hint that doesn't give it away. Turducken?
Archduke Franz Ferdinand?
What the fuck does Archduke Franz Ferdinand have to do with a turducken? It's John Madden!
Wait, really?
Yeah!
What?
Where
Wow,
did the what did turducken have to do with any of that?
I mean, that sounds like an Austro-Hungarian dish.
No, it's a gruesomely American creation. It's a duck inside of a chicken inside of a turkey.
Okay. Oh god, that sounds awful.
Archduke Franz Ferdinand.
This is the canonical also reminder that I've still never tried duck before.
Duck's pretty good. I mean, I've only really had it in ramen and other stuff like that, but it's good.
He's playing John Madden.
He's playing John Madden.
This is the most interested I've ever been in anything regarding American football.
Well, unfortunately, it's being directed by David O. Russell.
I don't know who that is, although I probably should.
You remember Amsterdam?
Oh.
Also, apparently,
okay.
he's kind of an abusive prick to work with.
Dope.
Which, I mean, if you start going, oh, this person's kind of a problematic individual, you're gonna cross half of Hollywood off the list. But
yeah, it's like you're knocking out a large portion of Hollywood at that point.
But I do think it's worth noting.
Mm-hmm.
He apparently was such an asshole to Amy Adams on the set of one movie that Christian Bale stepped in and was like, knock it off.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah.
Okay, well, on one hand, I am concerned, but on the other hand, it's still Nicolas Cage. And I'm kind of surprised by that, because the picture I get in my head when I put together Nicolas Cage biopic and from the creator, director, whatever, of Amsterdam gives me a wildly different image than I'm pretty sure how John Madden lived his life. Because from what extremely little I know of the man, he wasn't, outside of being like a famous coach and broadcaster, he wasn't the most exciting fellow, other than being smart enough to use his name to get millions and millions of dollars from EA for the rest of his life.
Oh my god. Greg, I just realized, what do you think
Yes.
the over-under is that we get to hear Nick Cage shout, football, at the top of his lungs?
And just like that,
We're
makes
back.
the movie worth it.
We're back, we're so back!
We're so fucking back.
I can't wait for this. Oh man, I should be more upset because again, it sounds like David O. Russell's a real piece of shit, and also I didn't like Amsterdam. But
Right.
but just for Nick Cage shouting football, come on.
That would be pretty good.
I got chills just thinking about it.
Right.
All right, we're getting a little too happy. Time to bring the mood down.
Oh boy.
I got an update on the Joaquin Phoenix situation. It's not much.
Okay.
It's not an awful lot. So, to recap, last week we covered the fact that Joaquin Phoenix dropped out of Todd Haynes' gay romance movie just 5 days before production was set to start, which is particularly heinous because he came to Killer Films, the production company, with the concept. This was his idea. He helped develop this, he helped secure funding based on his name, and him dropping out has basically fucked over the whole thing.
Right.
But anyways, enough about Joaquin Phoenix potentially being an asshole. No, wait, actually...
What? I was just saying, it's like, you seriously just did that to shit on Joaquin Phoenix.
But actually, no, not enough, because there's more.
Okay, I was gonna say, it's like, wow, that's... Now that's what I call petty, 2024 edition.
Looking cool, Joker! You know what?
Very good.
Now I want to call something, now that's what I call petty.
No, that's what I call petty, and it's just like a CD or a book filled with pictures of 7-time NASCAR champion Richard Petty.
It's just me going on absolute rants about other people. And that's what I call petty. No, great, now I got an idea.
Very good.
I'm getting ideas. So, back to the Joaquin Phoenix situation.
Okay.
This has apparently sparked a huge amount of outrage, according to one studio exec who wasn't named, but it was listed in the Hollywood Reporter.
Understandably. I mean, the anger is, I feel like, justified.
And this also apparently opens him up to the possibility of legal action.
I would assume so. For things to be that close, then there has to be certain things absolutely put down in writing at that point.
Granted, for him, even a 7-figure loss that he has to cover probably isn't that big of a deal. But,
right.
You know what? If it means messing up, by all means, actual journalists, please. If you have the ability to, if he's doing interviews and press calls for stuff, bring it up. Bring it up.
Yeah, bring it up.
At least get an explanation.
See what happened. Mm-hmm.
If he's putting a bunch of people out of work, we at least deserve to know if it's for an actual good reason or not.
Right.
I don't need to know the exact reason. Could be a personal tragedy. Could be a health crisis. I don't know. If that's the case, I mean, he's still kind of poor form, but whatever. But
right.
If it's just because he's suddenly antsy about the source material that he helped develop, fuck him.
Yeah, that would be something.
It's also brought up he apparently almost left Napoleon.
Really? Was it ever said why?
Why wasn't specified, but the ultimatum was they needed to bring in Paul Thomas Anderson to do rewrites.
Okay.
So, between that, the Doctor Strange situation, it seems like this is a decently common thing for him.
I am very curious what the universe of Joaquin Phoenix being Doctor Strange looks like.
Worse, we only got one Doctor Strange. Hell, we probably only got one Doctor Strange, and he probably wasn't even in Infinity War. Or he dropped out and they just got Benedict Cumberbatch.
Alright, Ben, it's your time now. It's like, I wasn't even in the whole movie. It's like, well, now you're in the new one. Don't worry about it.
Go get him, Benny boy.
Right.
So no, I look forward to seeing what comes of this, and assuming there wasn't an actual valid reason beyond getting cold feet regarding the film material, I look forward to having more of an opportunity to lambaste Joaquin Phoenix.
Valid.
It's really not. I shouldn't be looking for an excuse. I'm just on
the
launching pad now. I'm on the
you should just let her rip, like, naturally. Just like, it's just like, fuck excuses.
But I never claimed to be a bastion of journalistic integrity. That's why I do a podcast.
Right.
Granted, I still try to report the facts, just I have no problem putting my own take on it, and my own take is this is fucked.
Right. It is ultimately, at the end of the day, this dude backed out of a project that he's got started, that he personally, to some degree, bankrolled, or at least made promises of bankrolling, and he screwed over a whole bunch of people. Like, if nothing else, the takeaway should definitely be Joaquin Phoenix decided to pull out for no reason and screwed over a whole bunch of people.
Giggity?
That was not the best word choice on my part, admittedly.
No, that was very bad, especially considering Napoleon.
It's like, or whatever weird-ass noises he makes before, like, sliding under the table.
I don't want to think about that.
Yeah, no, it's just,
Stop it! I wish I could say the news gets better, but actually it's kind of downhill from here, if you could believe it.
Oh boy. Alright, what do we got next?
Actually, yeah, I don't have a single piece of good news after this. Well, I guess I have one piece of good news, but it's a good news that puts me on the launching pad for bad news.
Oh boy.
Anyways, we're gonna kind of like go worse, and then get to the worst, and then get a little bit better, but still not great. So
and then go back to worse.
No, there's one peak. No, it's not a peak, it's a valley. There's one valley in here.
Ain't no valley low enough. Are you sure about that, son?
So SAG-AFTRA. You remember how one of the whole sticking points of these strikes, including the ongoing video game strike, is about AI?
Yes. Well,
SAG-AFTRA struck a deal with AI startup Narrativ for audio voice replicas for digital advertising.
No?
Now...
No.
They do say it's setting a new standard for ethical use of the technology.
Your whole problem was that they were using the technology in the first place. Which is it? You can't really... You guys can't have both here.
Now, they claim not all members will be interested in taking advantage of the opportunities that licensing their digital voice replicas might offer, and that's understandable, but for those who do, you now have a safe option. Narrativ has agreed to our terms, and its platform is an excellent example of how AI can be ethically used by putting compensation, informed consent, and control in the hands of individual performers. Now, that all sounds well, fine, and good.
Yeah, I mean, not really, but continue. Because there's absolutely got to be something in the fine print that says otherwise.
I mean, let's be honest. Generative AI, in terms of creating, in terms of assembling something... from a prompt and a bunch of databases. Generally, the problem with that is that these databases are unethically sourced.
Right.
If an actor's willing to consent to having their voice digitally replicated, then ethically speaking, with respect to their performance and their art and their talent, there's nothing theoretically wrong with that, other than it's ghoulish and a sellout and what the fuck?
Yeah.
Why not just do the voice?
Yeah, as I say, I feel like that opens a can of worms at that point, because it's like if you're an actor who gets hired for a voice acting role, I imagine when it gets to the nitty-gritty, there's going to be like contracts and stuff that make it mandatory, but what's to stop the actor from being like, oh, I'm assigned to this role? Alright, let me just like talk to Gemini on Google real quick, and let it record my voice, and then I'll just send that to the studio.
It's also so funny because so many of these AI companies are now at the point where the bubble's about to burst because they've invested literally billions and the technology's not really any better than it was before they dumped billions of dollars into it.
Yeah, and it's funny that just because of how many more ads I'm seeing for it, like, caveat for a moment, right before we started recording for this, I got an ad for Google Gemini, because I've been getting a lot of those lately, and it was a thing of like, this is how people used to trash talk, it is how people trash talk with Google AI, and it was a thing of like the person telling their phone, generate a picture of me of a quarterback holding their gloves up, but the gloves are made of butter, and I'm just like, dog, these AI memes are awful.
That's not trash talk!
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck?
What is that a Butterfingers joke? What is that?
I think it was supposed to be a Butterfingers joke, but I'm just like, this is trash. The late 2000s and 2010 still had the best memes.
Oh man, we're getting old. Anyways.
Yes, we are.
I think the other important point is, and this is anecdotal, I don't think I've seen a reaction from a single actual actor in SAG-AFTRA who is enthusiastic about this agreement.
Right.
The general prevailing opinion I've seen is everybody going, we didn't want this at all.
Yeah. Or maybe like some prevailing apathy, if anything.
Yeah. I haven't seen a single person actually on board with it.
Right.
You could have just not.
No, because again, it's the whole thing of, I don't know, if I was someone within SAG-AFTRA, I'd be like, didn't we spend several months not working because of the whole thing of them using UI, or not UI, them using AI, well probably UI, AI in our productions, and now y'all are like, oh, we struck up a deal with an AI voice company. That kind of does fly in the face of, for the smaller ones especially, the non-insignificant sacrifice that was made to stand up for our art.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
I look forward to this whole thing falling apart. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm sure the impact will be devastating, because you can't sink billions of dollars into an industry, have it go tits up, and then not have it reach back and fuck over the rest of us. But
right.
It'll be funny! It'll be really funny! And God knows, I'm nothing if not willing to suffer for a bit.
I mean, I don't know, NFTs have stayed dead for at least a year.
They're not dead, they're not shoving them in our faces. Seth Green hasn't said anything about his chimps lately. What happened with that?
That's a good question.
Hold on a sec. Seth Green chimp NFT show.
Wait, it was a show?
He was gonna make a Bored Ape NFT show.
Oh my god. Okay.
And then apparently the chimps got stolen. The
chimps got stolen. That's a sentence. It's like, read all about it. Seth Green's chimps got stolen.
They got the chimp back. It wasn't a chimp, it was an ape. It was definitely an ape.
It was a derivative of a monkey of some kind.
No, monkeys are different.
Oh, you know what, fair.
Yeah, I don't know. The last I'm seeing is he got the ape back and no mention of the show, which means the whole thing was probably a scam, like NFTs in general.
This is a wonderful conversation out of context, by the way.
Yeah, Seth Green chimp show.
Seth Green stolen chimps.
Hey Greg, you want to go to Disney World?
Not particularly.
Okay, well, good. But if you do, make sure you got a bunch of liability insurance, because apparently...
Oh no.
Oh god, this is actually terrible. So, a man, Jeffrey Piccolo, is taking Disney to court over his wife's death at Disney Springs, because apparently she died of an allergic reaction at Raglan Road Irish Pub in October 2023.
Oh my.
And... on the one hand, Disney's making a couple of arguments to try to block this and get it thrown out. One of them is that they don't own or operate the restaurant themselves. Which, little slimy.
That seems like a really bad idea.
Oh, you think that's the bad argument? You think that's the bad argument? Oh, just wait! Hold.
I imagine there's worse, but it just seems like a really bad idea that if you're Disney, of all people, you rent out part of your park that brings in hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars a year to some rando fuckboy who serves drinks that kill people.
Well, no, that's the even weirder part. Historically, the restaurant has been known to be very accommodating when it comes to allergies. So how this happened is kind of a shock.
Okay.
So, that argument I can almost see flying, at least in comparison to the next one.
Which is?
They claim that by signing up for a free 30-day trial of Disney Plus back in 2019...
No!
I'm not done!
No way!
I'm not done!
This is already...
Repugnant is the word you're looking for.
Repugnant, thank you. This is already churlish.
That's morally bankrupt. So, the argument is that by signing up for that 30-day free trial and agreeing to the terms of service, he agreed to the term that all disputes with the Walt Disney Company or its affiliates be settled out of court via arbitration.
What? So what, because they signed up for Disney Plus, your right to legality has been waived because you gave the House of Mouse digital money.
Oh, our theme park ride fell apart because of months of neglect while you're on it and you suffered a grievous injury. Oh, you want to take us to court? Sorry, you signed up for Disney Plus! What's that? You want to watch She-Hulk Attorney at Law? Sure, all it's gonna cost you is entirely too much a month, and also you can't sue us for anything. Ironic, isn't it?
That is absolutely wild.
I'll level with you.
And very gross.
I consider Disney Plus a crucial aspect of one of my major hobbies, and also, from a casual professional perspective, as somebody who follows a lot of Marvel stuff in general, I find Disney Plus is important to have.
Right.
But if this motion gains any kind of traction, I'm canceling my Disney Plus, which really sucks because I'm one of those people where several different people use my account, and I've warned all of them, sorry guys, if this comes out, it's not worth the liability.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's understandable.
What an actually disgusting argument.
That is gross as hell.
All you had to do was say, this isn't technically our restaurant, and it would still be a little scummy, because I'm sure you still have some degree of liability, hashtag I'm not a lawyer, but
yeah.
To say that signing up for a streaming service means that you're effectively immune to being taken to court and that everything has to be settled under arbitration, I'm running out of synonyms. It's gross!
Yeah, it's a little disgusting.
It's depraved!
Deplorable.
That's a good one.
You already said that.
I don't know that I did. I don't think I did. That's a good one.
Okay, that's a good synonym.
You're Disney! Just fucking settle!
Yeah, for real. Tell your restaurant to the restaurant that is not your restaurant, but in all actuality is your restaurant. Tell them to get their shit together.
Don't you have risk analysts for this shit? Don't you have fucking PR people to tell you, sir, trying to say you signed up for Disney Plus, i.e. you can't sue us because your wife died, is really bad fucking optics?
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
For crying out loud. Now, there's no word on if this is working or not. I certainly hope not.
I hope not as well, yeah.
But Piccolo's attorneys argued that the defense borders on the surreal, and also said...
Yeah, no kidding! You don't say, my man.
The notion that terms agreed to by a consumer when creating a Disney Plus free trial account would forever bar that consumer's right to a jury trial in any dispute with any Disney affiliate or subsidiary is so outrageously unreasonable and unfair as to shock the judicial conscience, and this court should not enforce such an agreement. Preach! Go off, king or queen, whichever. Go off, your honor!
Yes, go off on Disney's god-awful terms of service. If that is actually in their terms of service.
Ugh.
Holy crap.
The more I think about it, the sadder I get.
Yeah, it's very sad, but it's also, the cynic in me can't also help it go, this is a indicator of the modern world that we live in.
Anyway, I'm gonna try to keep an eye on this one, because I have to know how this pans out.
Oh, absolutely.
Literally, my Disney Plus account depends on it.
Yes.
Fuck, wait, is it in the Hulu agreement too?
That's a good question. That's a good question, actually. Ooh.
Now I gotta check all... Oh god, I have to read.
I mean, as a bit of an off topic, I feel that, especially being that one of my lighter hobbies is taking pictures and attempting to edit them in Lightroom, which is an Adobe product. And Adobe recently changed their terms of service within the last few months. The crux of it is effectively something that says, is like, if you make something or edit something in Adobe Lightroom or any of our Adobe products, we can use it for whatever we want. No, that's actually pretty gross, even if I don't make money on this. And I guess I need to find an alternative now.
Yep. See, I looked out. The only things I use Adobe for aren't my images anyway, so...
Fair.
So, that's a little depressing. I didn't need that today.
Right.
Just like, I didn't need a reminder that Secret Invasion exists, but here we are.
Oh boy, what happened this time?
Well, this year at Terrificon...
Terrificon.
I don't know what it is.
Alright.
Cobie Smulders was there, and she said she's open to returning as Maria Hill. Her exact quote was, "I would love to go back, but I have no idea what they have in store for the future of Marvel or my character at this point."
Didn't her character get shot?
Yeah, but it's Secret Invasion, so who gives a fuck? The show was stupid and terrible.
Okay.
They have done nothing with Maria Hill this entire time. She's had a handful of appearances across literally over 10 years, and the time that they finally go, oh, maybe she'll actually get some prominence, they shoot her dead, episode 1. And in an espionage show, where all kinds of technology and super science and alien mumbo-jumbo that lets you fake deaths are easy as pie. They're a dime a dozen. Nick Fury lowered his heartbeat 10 years ago to fake being dead. And despite that, there's no fake out, there's no big twist. She just died purely to emphasize stakes, and oh no, Fury's alone except for Talos. Oh, what a tragedy this is. Fuck you!
Right.
What an absolute fucking nothing burger of a show. There are people genuinely trying to argue online that She-Hulk Attorney at Law is the worst show that Marvel's ever made. And you know what? First of all, Inhumans.
Yeah, I was gonna say Inhumans exists. I need money.
Second of all, Season 1 of Iron Fist. Third of all, Actually, you know what? Is Iron Fist Season 1 worse than Secret Invasion?
No, it is not. Well, I haven't seen Secret Invasion, but the way that you describe it, I would still probably put Iron Fist on the top of
You know
all
what?
of those.
I'd say Iron Fist is probably better. So you know what?
Yeah, it's certainly better than freaking Inhumans.
Third point, Secret Invasion. No, as long as Secret Invasion exists, nothing that Marvel has currently put out can be considered the worst anything.
Right.
Because it's just nothing. It's a pointless, empty waste of potential. It's 6 episodes of Nick Fury meandering around while everybody just goes, oh, you're too old for this, mate. Get the fuck out of here. And then by the end, he makes everybody's life worse for having to come into contact with him and has done nothing to prove any of them wrong. He's still out of step. He's still a fucking failure. He's gotten all of his allies killed, and Skrulls are now the subject of a bunch of fucking anti-alien prejudice, all because Nick Fury sucks at his fucking job.
You know what's fun for me about that, even though I have not seen a single minute of Secret Invasion, I always went in thinking that because of how much stuff Marvel has done, and because how the majority of it is at least in the neighborhood between solid to genuinely amazing, I kind of figured that for all eternity, their worst project would be something that's just decent at worst. Like, their worst project is still watchable, if nothing else. And it's like, man, I never thought we'd get to a point where their worst project is genuinely awful.
Their worst thing is probably Thor the Dark World. Me in 2022. Okay, Thor Love and Thunder. I guess I was overdue for an overhaul. Alright, that's fine. Okay, I can wait a little bit. Next year. I didn't think you'd break the record this quickly! What the fuck?!
It's the whole thing of my expectations were low, but holy fuck.
Anyways, yeah, bring her back. Bring Maria Hill back. Make it a Skrull. Make it a life model decoy. I don't give a fuck. Just bring her back.
Yeah, you might as well at this point.
Secret Invasion is the one single thing Marvel Studios has done where if they completely ignored it and pretended it didn't exist or said, yeah, this was secretly on another world in the multiverse the whole time, I would go, you know what, that's probably for the best. Right, especially because it means you can also bring back Ben Mendelsohn.
Right.
Let's go to trailer time.
Let's go to trailer time
It's trailer time again! We've got movie previews to watch! It's trailer time again!
At least 1/3 more sadness.
Yeah, we got a new trailer for Kraven the Hunter. It's whatever.
It feels like they were just, especially after Deadpool and Wolverine came out, they were like, okay, we really need to make sure that people remember that this movie is rated R. Honestly, the way this trailer looks and is set up, I was like, this trailer does a good job of making this movie not look awful. It actually looks decent and competent.
Yeah, worst case scenario, this looks mediocre.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, like, it's a very well put together trailer.
The biggest problem is the insistence on going, oh, this is a villain movie. Oh, he's a real bad guy because he's going around killing people. Oh, really? Who's he killing? A bunch of poachers and gangsters and criminals and shit. Oh.
It's like so anti-hero?
No, he's a villain. But
yeah,
what makes him a villain?
He kills people. Is the Punisher a villain?
Arguably, yes, but...
But, well, yeah, you know what? That's fair.
But it's really funny watching them try to paint this gray anti-hero figure as like, oh no, this is one of the Spider-Man villains. This is one of Spider-Man. What did Aaron Taylor Johnson call him? Spider-Man's greatest rival? That's cute.
Which is fucking hilarious.
Kraven the Hunter, an animal lover, and a protector of nature. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure, I can't remember it exactly, but I really distinctly remember going, this trailer looks actually pretty good. It makes the movie look pretty solid, and I think they make a Kraven pun in the trailer. It's just like, oh, nope, there it is. We just there.
This is just bad guy. This is just not bad guy, but this is guy they want you to really think is a bad guy just beats up worse guys. Oh, boo-hoo.
Yeah, it's like John Wick, but with none of the pizzazz or the intrigue or the empathy.
Now, we do get Rhino in this trailer.
Okay.
A lot of people have been really upset about the design. I'll level. I think it looks pretty alright.
I'm not familiar with Rhino specifically, so...
Okay, yeah, it's a little in the face, but they're not gonna go with, oh, yeah, he's a guy in a big technological rhinoceros suit. Like, he's not wearing a big padded rhinoceros suit, alright? That's not gonna happen.
Yeah, no, that's not a thing
Even
here.
Marvel Studios wouldn't do that. It's leagues better than the mechanical rhino mech. So,
right.
I'll take it. I'll take, nanites or whatever, like some kind of serum gives him fucking rhino skin and makes him big and he's got horns on his head now. Yeah, cool, okay, I'll take it.
Right.
It's not great, but it's honestly one of the more accurate looking things Sony's ever done with any of these.
I don't know, is Kraven's whole thing of not wearing a shirt, having fur on him, and holding a stick on fire, is that an accurate portrayal of his character too?
I don't know about the stick on fire, but the lion nipple vest is.
Okay. Alright.
His main outfit in the comics is usually he wears a vest that's made out of a lion head, and the eyes basically go over where his nipples are, so...
Okay, that's aggressive.
It's a weird-looking vest.
Yeah, right, sure.
Yeah. No, I mean, this doesn't look like the most terrible thing ever, but, John, I can't wait for December. I can't wait for this to come out. I can't wait to never have to think about it again. I genuinely swear to God, if this gets a sequel, I'm gonna...
Wow, the eyes are actually on his nipples.
Yeah! You thought I was kidding?
That's pretty bad, honestly.
You thought I was kidding!
That's awful. That just looks really bad.
So, yeah, okay, this looks not as bad as the first trailer, still not great.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we also got a trailer for Hereafter.
Yeah, this is... Oh god, why am I struggling to remember to say anything about this?
This is the one where the woman's daughter was dead for 20 minutes and came back, but it seems like something else came back. Oh, that's right!
Yeah, I think I checked out because it's the whole halfway religion movie trying to be a horror movie thing.
I'll level. This looks... I don't hate religious horror. Religious horror just disappoints me more than a lot of other genres of horror, because it usually comes down to the exact same thing, which is just yada 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 demonic possession, yada 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 power of Christ compels you, yada 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 by faith be healed, yada 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 Jesus is king or whatever, I don't fucking know.
Yada 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 pray the devil away. I don't know. I have no particular feelings towards this one, in all honesty. I think my inability to recollect it kind of proves that.
I'm a little bit interested only to see what the personal connection is, because clearly the mom has an inkling of who's come back with her, and it seems like she has some kind of dark secret in her past, so...
Fair.
I'm very curious to see what that ends up being, but that's my main point of interest, because otherwise, yeah, I've seen this before too many times.
And it doesn't get better any previous time.
I hope she doesn't squeeze that bird to death.
She's probably going to squeeze that bird to death.
Yeah, probably. It's going to be unpleasant.
Which is not great because lately YouTube has been recommending me a lot of videos of a dude's talking African gray parrot.
Aww.
Yeah.
They're very intelligent.
They are horrifically intelligent, but also seem to have the general mentality power of like a 4-year-old.
That just makes it sadder.
Yeah, it was especially funny because they talk about the bird a little bit. Like, this bird is adorable. Its name is Apollo.
Aw.
But they go, yeah, this is Apollo, our 3-year-old African gray. It's like, that bird's 3? Oh, y'all are fucked. I love birds. I think birds are awesome. But it's like, damn, that bird's only 3 years old and it's doing all of that. It's like, man, Jesus. Very cute, very smart bird, but it's just the thing of like, this bird is going to know every word in the vocabulary by the time it turns 20.
And then we also got a trailer for The Substance, which, yes, give me this movie.
I am a lot more intrigued with this trailer compared to the teaser trailer we got like a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a lot more interesting to me, and I do kind of get the whole angle of it being a attack on really dumb beauty standards.
Yeah, I mean, that's a quote attached to the trailer, that it's a scathing indictment of unrealistic beauty standards or something of the such.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, you see the quote in the trailer, it's just like, yeah, but is it really? And then as it's going on, it's like, you know, I think I could see it. Yeah.
Definitely is.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Margaret Qualley's in it.
Okay.
She was Jamie in Driveway Dolls.
Oh, right, yeah, she was. I think I remember seeing her in the trailer, like, wait, why do you look familiar?
No, this looks like some interesting existential body horror, and I'm down for it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 100%.
This better be coming to a theater. I think I saw, if nothing else, the Greenlight Cinema in downtown is planning on having showings of it once it releases. So, if nothing else, maybe I'll go there, because I really want to go down there more often.
Yeah, and it's been a while. I think it's been a while since either of us have been in that theater.
I think the only time I've been there was to see Possessor Uncut.
Wasn't that also where we watched, like, the really shitty Hellboy movie, too?
No. Why would the really shitty Hellboy movie have been at the indie theater?
I don't know. I feel like when we saw that movie...
No, that was 100% big screen AMC, I'll guarantee it.
Okay, yeah, so because I remember it's like, okay, it was in downtown, but I couldn't remember if it was there or at the AMC.
Yeah, that was downtown, but that was not. That was AMC.
Yeah.
Oh, man. No, I'm very excited.
Yeah, no, this looks cool. This looks a lot more interesting.
I want to know, God, do you think it's going to turn into, like, actual split human being that runs off and does its own thing? Or...
I mean, it's possible. That would be interesting. For how weird and grotesque this movie appears to be, I feel like anything is on the table.
This movie makes me not want to eat shrimp, which is... It takes a lot to do that.
So you know what's funny is that when that part was starting in the first bit, I'm just like, where is this movie going? And it's just like, I don't want to hear this dude eat shrimp. Fried shrimp especially is one of my favorite foods. So this is already really gross. And then it starts getting into the whole substance thing. It's like, oh, it's this movie. Oh, okay. All right. We'll let it cook.
All right. Let's go to box office.
Let's do the box office.
I actually did see the highest grossing movie this weekend because it was Alien Romulus.
Oh, something finally knocked Deadpool and Wolverine off its perch?
I mean, it's only been 3 weeks. I don't know that I'd say... well, okay, yeah, that is a pretty long stretch for a movie to be at the top, but for a Marvel movie, I feel like it's pretty commonplace.
Okay, fair.
Certainly for Marvel movies that get that kind of box office. But anyways, Alien Romulus. $42 million domestic weekend and total. $110 million worldwide against an $80 million budget. So it's doing pretty good.
Yeah, that's encouraging. That's an encouraging start.
Barring a massive drop off a cliff, and given its competition next weekend, I don't think it's about to take a giant drop off a cliff, but I guess we'll see.
Oh, actually, you know what? I completely forgot to mention this to you, but there was something that made me go, there's no fucking way. Let's see if it's still reported as such, though.
Oh, no.
The Borderlands movie.
Oh, no.
So, I want to say it finished the box office last weekend with, what, 7 million, 8 million?
Right.
Apparently it's now at 21.2 million worldwide. Yeah, now...
I'm about to make a name for myself here.
Now... That doesn't seem right to me. Because I don't know if the movie did not get released worldwide last weekend and just got released worldwide. It did?
It did. I don't know that it got released in every market, but it definitely got released in more places than just the US.
Okay, because normally most movies have a significant drop after their first weekend, right?
Yeah.
This movie made more money, comparatively, and it's like, that's
not what it made this weekend, Greg. That 21.2 million is its total worldwide.
Yeah,
including last weekend.
Yeah, but that means that it made another, 13 million or so.
No, that 13 million is what it got domestically across these last 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. It's not
Okay.
gaining momentum, it's still losing it.
Okay, because I got very confused and very concerned, because I was already seeing things of, like, apparently some people are suspecting that Gearbox and 2K were trying to have bots go out to say the movie's actually pretty good and whatnot.
I don't doubt
And
it.
yeah, I mean, that's probably true, honestly.
I can't imagine a human being going to see this movie and coming out saying, yeah, this is alright.
Well, the posts and whatever I've seen from people who are saying, like, this movie is actually pretty alright are pretty consistently people who admit to not seeing a lot of movies to begin with.
Ah.
You know what? I'm not going to do the whole, like, filthy casual thing, because that's just toxic. It doesn't help anybody. But that I understand. That
I'll
I completely
do it.
get.
Oh, filthy casual.
So he's like, I'll fucking do it again.
Anyways, this isn't about Borderlands, but also while we're thinking about Borderlands, I didn't call this out during our review, but I do respect that when you sent me your audio, you called it borderline unwatchable. That got a good laugh out of me.
I'm glad you appreciated that.
No, that was really good. I liked it. Anyways, Alien Romulus.
Alien Romulus.
Which only I saw.
Yeah, because this is one of those movies, and actually a friend of ours stopped by my job and basically confirmed it for me. It was very much one of those things where I didn't see it because the movie looks genuinely good, but I have a very weird relationship when it comes to graphic depiction of gore, because some things I can just, like, kind of take no problem. I could tell that this movie was going to be a lot more gruesome about it. I was like, I don't think I can watch this in a theater.
No, probably for the best. This was a pretty viscerally gross movie.
On a scale of 1 to Evil Dead Rise.
Not that bad.
Okay, great.
I'll give it a 7.
Alright.
7.5. 8. I'll give it an
fair.
8.
Yeah. Okay, that's good, I think?
Presuming that Evil Dead Rise is a 10.
Yeah, Evil Dead Rise is very much a 10.
So this is directed by Fede Alvarez, who directed Evil Dead Rise, and also directed... Wait, was it Evil Dead Rise? No, he directed, Evil Dead 2013, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
The one before Evil Dead Rise.
Right.
When they decided, oh, you know what? What if we took Evil Dead and we actually made it scary? Don't get me wrong, I also like the horror comedy approach of the older movies and also the Ash vs. Evil Dead continuity. But the answer is, you get some real horrifying shit!
Yeah.
He also directed Don't Breathe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's all the advertising. They're always like from the director of Evil Dead and Don't Breathe, and I always was kind of baffled that they kept putting Don't Breathe in there, because I don't know that that's the movie I'd put forward as, like, yeah, from the guy who made this, where the main threat at the end is an old blind guy with a turkey baster full of sperm. I won't be elaborating. Go watch Don't Breathe for yourself if you want.
I don't know if I want to after hearing that.
Were you not there? I thought you were there. I thought we watched it for a horror night and you were there.
Hold on, I have to remind myself real quick, because it's the movie that I think it is.
The friends try breaking into an old man's house because they think there's a bunch of money there, and then it turns out he's, like, an actually dangerous guy.
If I was there for it, I do not remember a single iota of it.
Huh.
I'm pretty sure I did not see this movie.
Alright.
El Hombre Ciego.
Anyways, back to Alien Romulus.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm gonna say it straight up. I am probably not equipped to say, is this a good Alien movie, because my relationship with the Alien film franchise is very scattershot and inconsistent. I have seen the first one multiple different times, and I really like it. I have seen Aliens once, but it was a movie night with friends, so I really wasn't paying super close attention to it.
Fair enough.
And I have passively watched Prometheus and Alien Covenant while other people were watching it. So, I have technically seen 4 of them out of 6, but I'm only familiar with 1 closely.
Okay.
So that being said, watching this, I wasn't really sure what to think going into it, except for the fact that, oh, there's a lot of practical effects. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's pretty good.
Okay.
I think this is a pretty good movie. I had a good time with it. There are just some things that weigh it down a little bit, probably more than it should. But my pet peeves are my pet peeves, so...
Fair.
The premise of the movie is that Kaylee Spaney, playing Rain Carradine, is I want to say she's a miner, as in she works in a mine, not...
Okay, as to say, in what context exactly?
I mean, she played a miner last year, she was Elvis Presley's wife, but... Got him!
I did not like my reaction to that. Continue.
Presley was a good movie, I'm glad I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
So, she's trying to get off of this colony that she's on, and I guess she has a work contract, which is up, but then the company, Weyland Yutani, I don't know how you pronounce it, I forget, just extends the contract another 5 or 6 years arbitrarily because there's a worker shortage, and this movie has some things to say. It has a scathing indictment of capitalism, let me tell you what.
Okay.
Because so much of this, I mean, I guess Alien in general, so much of the problems are caused by short-sighted pursuit of profit at the expense of humanity, but... Anyways, deciding that, oh fuck, I'm never getting off this rock if I play by their rules, a friend of hers comes to her with a heist idea. Not even a heist, there's a company spaceport that's been abandoned or decommissioned floating up in space, and it's got the cryopods that we can use for the 9-year trip to this one system that you want to get to. So all we gotta do is sneak in, steal that, do the thing, boom, we go there.
Alright.
So, she and her adopted brother, I guess, Andy, played by David Johnson, he's an android.
Alright.
They join in, they actually need Andy to interface with the technology, which is part of why he comes along with this. And they get on the station, and there are facehuggers and xenomorphs, and it's a bad time all around.
Facehuggers and xenomorphs and bad times, oh my.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, I think this was, on the whole, a fine movie.
Okay.
And I mean that in the fine leaning towards actually pretty good, not fine in the same way that, yeah, you know, going to Applebee's is fine.
I mean, I feel like going to Applebee's is not fine. It's kind of mediocre.
Applebee's fine is the worst fine there is, you know?
You know what? That's understandable.
There's Applebee's, which is fine, and then there's Tiana Paris, which is fine.
Yeah, okay. I think I better understand your analogy there. Is it only fine just because of how scattershot your relationship with the other movies in the franchise is?
Honestly, I feel like that kind of weighs it down, because there's a couple of moments in this that are so eye-rollingly heavy-handed throwbacks to the original Alien in particular that I both immediately recognized it and was not amused.
It's one of those things where it's like, we're here for nostalgia bait. This is some pretty weak nostalgia bait.
You know what? It's a single line, and I'm not going to provide the context, so I'm not gonna... I'll tell you what it is, but I'm not going to give the context. Somebody repeats Ripley's famous, "Get away from her, you bitch," but it doesn't feel like it really fits the character, and the delivery is in such a way where there's a pause, and there's an in-character reason for the pause, but also it feels like they're just doing a wait for it, and it's just, oh, I hate it so fucking much.
It sounds like it's one of those things, and we got the telegraph in full force right now. You can see this shit coming from a mile away, and it's not getting any better the closer it gets, ladies and gentlemen.
No, those moments where it stops itself dead in its tracks to go, hey, you remember Alien? Are the
Pepperidge
worst
Farmer
parts.
members.
And there are only a couple, but they're just so bad. I don't know if they were studio mandates or if it was somebody trying to be cute and failing, but... There's also... Is this a spoiler? I think it's a spoiler. There's a particular thing in the movie that I'll probably get into in a spoiler section, because I do think there is a... I think this movie's worth doing that for.
Okay.
Especially since you're not going to see it anytime soon, but...
Yeah.
There's a particular thing that I would think is a gross phenomenon on the best of days, and while the circumstances are a little bit better, I'm still not on with it as a whole. To its advantage, this movie, much like the original Alien, takes its sweet time getting to the action, but that works to its benefit.
I imagine it does a good job of building overall suspension and tension throughout.
Yeah, and it also gives you a really good feel for the characters and their situation, and how desperate they really are to pull this off, because just the point where Rain's travel request, I guess, now that she's supposed to be free of her contract, goes through only for it to get turned down because, like, oh yeah, we got a shortage of labor, so we've extended your contract, even though you've met all the requisite hours, we're just going to extend it. That's the most, fuck you got whatever's fucking coming to you coming.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's also a little weird, because on the flip side, this movie's very, yes, short-sighted corporate greed will destroy us all, but it doesn't seem to have all that much respect for idealism either, because, and I guess this is also true to the original Alien, but a lot of the more humane, other people first thinking decisions cause a lot of fucking problems.
Really?
So I'm not quite sure where the movie lands on idealism versus cynicism. Maybe nowhere. Maybe that's the point. Maybe the point is both things in excess are bad.
I can see arguments for both ends, because it's the whole thing of, like, overwhelming negativity versus overwhelming positivity. Obviously, positivity is always generally good, but if there's just too much of it, then that can roll back around to nothing good coming from it.
Right. Set design is on point. This really feels like a dirty, lived-in outer space aesthetic, which I like.
Alright.
The acting is pretty dang good, bordering on excellent. David Johnson, in particular, is a standout. He delivers an absolute knockout performance as Andy, and it's especially notable because Andy goes through a couple of changes across the course of the film, which let him really show off his range.
Alrighty.
Kaylee Spaney also puts in a good turn as basically the lead girl of this movie. She's really interesting. Watching her struggles and the decisions she comes to over the course of the movie, interesting. Alien design, really good.
Okay, as I say, I can't imagine, it can't be much different from, like, the traditional Alien. I'd be very shocked if they got the design of the Alien itself wrong.
No, they wisely decided not to really fuck with perfection.
Good.
So the Xenomorph and the Facehuggers are all very on point. Some of that good old, I mean, Alien is one of those things where I have a hard time figuring out how to put it into words. It is very sex-coded, but it's not sexy. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's not for nothing that the chestbursters look like they're little fucking penis head aliens. It's not for nothing that the facehuggers have those little flaps near their tail that I think look suspiciously like testes. It's not for nothing that a lot of the scenes of facehuggers impregnating people are very violating in how they're presented.
Right.
And this was also a theme in the first Alien as well. And it carries over here, definitely for sure, especially because Isabella Merced plays Kay, one of the other character's sisters, who is pregnant throughout the whole thing.
Ooh, that's dangerous territory for a movie like this.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Now, I will say, the other main thing that I don't really care for about this movie, and I think this might just be a me problem, is that there's a point where the movie feels like it should stop.
Okay.
And then it doesn't. It keeps going for another solid 20 minutes, and to be fair, they did set it up. It was properly foreshadowed. This was not a swerve out of nowhere for the sake of prolonging the runtime. This is a thing that has been built up to, but by the point it rolls around, I was just kind of exhausted. Not in a, I'm sick of this movie way, but in a, oh, I thought we were done, are we? Okay. Alright. And I guess the implications of what happens in the final bits are very interesting, to be sure. And I can't really argue against it, because otherwise the only argument I've got is you couldn't have waited for a sequel, which is both gross and also not guaranteed, so I don't really know where I'm going by complaining about it, other than just, I was kind of exhausted, and maybe you didn't need to put that bit in, but also, without it, the movie would have felt a little bit emptier without that setup, so...
Right.
I don't know. I really don't know. But there are some proper tense scenes once they get to the facehuggers showing up. Basically, once the alien stuff starts, it does not let up.
Oh boy. Well, I mean, that's kind of what you come for. It's in the title.
Yeah, no, but for example, just because I just recently watched the original, it's fresh in my mind. Even in the original, once the chestburster pops up, there's some lulls in the action. There are some bits where characters discuss what to do, and I mean, there are those here, but it feels a lot more non-stop and a lot more breathless and a lot more, keep the fuck up, we don't have time, shit's falling apart, man, we gotta fucking go.
Yeah.
So all in all, yeah, I like this. It's not one of my favorite things. On the rank list of things that I've seen this year, it's in that massive pileup of horror movies where it's like, I like this, but I didn't love it. I got it right between Cuckoo and Abigail, because, like Abigail, the ending doesn't work for me as much, and it brings the whole thing down a little bit. But, unlike Abigail, it's not a... I don't want to call Abigail a train wreck of an ending, just a too big pile-up of ideas. but here it still mostly works. I just don't know that we needed it.
Hmm.
And it's not quite as atmospheric or original feeling as Cuckoo, which is why it's below it. But honestly, this whole thing is arbitrary anyway. I'll look at this a few weeks from now, and I'll probably be like, I don't know, let me move this.
Was I being too harsh? I might have been too harsh, or I wasn't being harsh enough.
This list changes whenever the fuck I feel like it. I owe nobody nothing.
Yeah, the fun of subjective rankings in movies, which is already something art is subjective, except for times when it's really not.
How does one compare One Life to Deadpool and Wolverine?
I mean, Deadpool and Wolverine has moments of fine art. Not many, and by not many I mean none at all, but...
Anyways, all in all, I would say that Alien Romulus is definitely worth checking out. It is, not if you can't handle,
like
some aggressive
squeamish.
Violence. Yeah, if you're squeamish.
Yeah. Again, that was my big thing, because, like, for me... Because I've watched, like, plenty of war movies and stuff like that. For, like, a better description, big picture gore that's not played up for the sake of it, I can kind of deal with. Because I've watched a lot of war movies, and one of my favorite series is Band of Brothers, and people regularly get arms and legs blown off, and, like, hands blown off, heads destroyed, and all that. That's kind of stuff. It's like the really in-your-face, nitty-gritty, intimate kind of gore that you see in movies like this and Evil Dead Rise. Those are usually the ones where I just kind of like, yeah, I gotta draw the line for a second.
Yeah. Man, They Will Not Grow Old fucked me up.
Yeah,
In any case, if you don't want to get spoiled on Alien Romulus, make sure to click away in 3, 2, 1. So the big thing that I really don't like...
Oh boy.
...is they digitally brought back Ian Holm, who's deceased.
Oh no.
As not Ash, who is the robot in the original Alien, but as another android of the same type named Rook.
Okay.
Now, to its credit, this was not a studio idea. This was apparently an idea by the director and I think maybe somebody else, and they did get permission from Holmes' widow.
Okay, cool.
So, on that front, okay, cool. I feel like maybe you could have also given another actor the opportunity to do it, and also, because there's nothing saying these robots all have to look alike as far as I know. Maybe I'm wrong, but, again, not an alien expert. But
fair.
Apparently, when asked, his widow also mentioned that apparently Ian Holm felt like he was getting kind of overlooked by bigger Hollywood in his later years, so that's a nice tribute.
Yeah, that's very sweet.
What I don't like is apparently generative AI was used in recreating his voice.
Yeah, that's not as sweet.
That's okay, if you want to redo his face, that's one thing, but you couldn't get a sound alike, nobody would really care, I don't think.
Right.
That it doesn't sound exactly like him. It also doesn't help that even for him playing an android, especially because we have Andy, another android, right there, it doesn't look particularly convincing. Which is kind of the problem with this stuff. No matter how good it is, your brain can kind of tell. Not all the time, because we could be tricked into thinking that stuff that isn't CGI is CGI, although a lot of the times that's because you layered a bunch of CGI over it. But...
Yeah, that was a pretty bad example.
I think I should still bleep that again.
No, I mean, like, I agree with you in that be an example of bad CGI is just bad CGI.
But it was there. He had it all on set. There's pictures.
Yeah.
Like, it's not CGI, but they must have put CGI over it. That does not look real. Anyways. The thing is, though, a lot of the times, the brain is hardwired to see that it's not natural, and we can see around it, and it triggers something that's just like, that's off.
Right.
Which, maybe in this case might be part of it because he's an android, but in that case, why didn't you apply that same effect to Andy? Because he looks completely tangible and real in there. It's really interesting, circling back to David Johnson doing a great job as Andy, that at one point, he doesn't have the proper credentials to get into one section of the ship, and in an emergency situation, they get the credentials from Rook, the other android who has been decimated but is still kind of sort of functional, and upload it into Andy, but that update also brings him in line with the company position, so...
Oh, really?
Now he's more unfeeling and cold and willing to sacrifice people, and...
Oh.
The mission to secure a mysterious compound also starts taking him over, so now it's not even about protecting his surrogate sister, now it's about what the company thinks is best.
There's a joke somewhere in here about updating modern gaming consoles.
Yeah, be careful what you click on. There might be an agreement saying you can't sue Disney if an alien comes through and...
I mean, that still sounds neat, and I can already see how you were saying, with how Andy changes, that opens up the actor to show off the range that he has as an actor.
You know what? Fuck it. Marvel, you want to see if he wants to be Kang?
That would be cool.
I feel like you haven't started shooting yet, right? On Avengers Doomsday? So it's not too late? Maybe you can get your money back?
I mean, they probably can't get their money back from Robert Downey Jr., but they could try something else.
I shouldn't keep dunking on this. It's becoming a broken record, but I hate it so much. Anyways.
That's understandable.
Let's see. So things go horribly wrong.
As is tradition.
Their pilot, Navarro, gets a facehugger on her, and fortunately, Rook very quickly brings them up to speed on what a facehugger does. But while Andy realizes, oh shit, she's probably already infected even after they got it off her, we can't let her on the ship, nobody listens to him.
Oh, I'm sure great things happen as a result of that.
So, Andy, Rain, and Tyler, who is Rain's ex, apparently, I guess the vibes are there, end up still stuck on the outpost, while Tyler's cousin Bjorn, who's an asshole,
right.
Kay, who's his pregnant sister, and Navarro end up on the ship. And then the chestburster fucking comes out, kills her, the ship ends up careening into the opposite side of the outpost. Oh, and the outpost is also about to hit the rings on the outside of the colony planet, so they have a limited amount of time, which is part of the urgency. So they have to make their way across the ship, get there, the whole while Andy's slowly succumbing to his new programming.
Okay.
Turns out he has to retrieve this stuff called Compound Z01, I think? Z01? And...
Xeno 1, okay.
No, Z01.
Oh, okay, I thought it was like Xeno 1, like Xenoverse, I guess. Anyway.
Or Xenomorph.
Or Xenomorph. Xenomorph makes more sense.
I would say that's clever, and maybe that's what they intended, but they keep pronouncing it Zed, so...
Yeah, Z is how British people say the letter Z.
Right.
Yeah.
But it does keep the joke from really translating if that's what they intended.
Fair.
So, apparently what it does is, it's some kind of compound in the Xenomorph's blood that just does all kinds of crazy DNA-enhancing bullshit. Like the footage they used, they crushed a fucking rat and then injected it with the stuff, and it self-repaired.
Huh, okay.
At least for a few minutes, and then it exploded, but they didn't see that part. So, Andy's supposed to retrieve this stuff because apparently it's the step to saving humanity from whatever environmental disasters are coming because they don't have time to wait for evolution or whatever. Very gruesome deaths. Bjorn gets stabbed through the fucking face by a stinger tail.
Oh, no.
He had it coming, he was a prick.
Fair enough.
Tyler ended up getting ripped apart by a few of them, that was pretty messed up. Anyways, Rain ends up putting the original programming back in Andy. They're getting off the ship, or off the outpost, to get on the ship. But unfortunately, they left Isabella by herself at one point after getting her... She goes through a whole fucking trauma fest where she gets fucking run through by one of these things and imprisoned in one of its wall cocoon things, but fortunately hasn't been impregnated with another facehugger yet, so that's good.
That's good. Ugh.
But I don't remember if she's ever told what Compound Z01 does. Right, they were contemplating using it on her because she was very heavily injured, but they're like, okay, we just need to get her back to the ship, we can't guarantee what this stuff does. But once she's separated from them, her injuries start getting worse, so she injects herself with it. This will become a problem.
Something, Clementine will remember that.
There's a pretty metal bit where they keep using, they use the gravity generator on the ship, they turn it off so they can shoot the aliens properly because they have these plasma rifles that'll kill them, but the problem is they have acid blood, so it'll eat through the bottom layer of the ship, which they're on.
Oh, yeah, that's a bit of a problem, isn't it?
Yeah, but they turn off the gravity, so the blood's just floating there, and then they're crawling their way around the blood through the hallway, which was pretty fucking metal.
Okay.
And they get back onto the ship, they're preparing to go into cryosleep, and it turns out injecting yourself with Z01 has some complications.
Such as?
None that affect Kay herself, but they do affect her baby.
Oh no.
Which emerges as this horrifying human xenomorph hybrid thing that quickly grows to like 9 feet tall, and it's got weird protruding structures in its back, and its face is just cold and dead and horrifying looking, and It's a fucking monster. And it actually looks a little bit like the engineers from Prometheus and Alien Covenant, which is an interesting little wrinkle, and I'm not sure what that means for alien cosmology, because, again, not an expert.
Right.
And the final bit is having to deal with this thing. And it's horrifying, don't get me wrong, and I'm curious what the implications are, but it's also, this is the part where I was like, oh, okay, we're doing this, huh? Did somebody demand we needed a new alien type? Is that what this was?
Right, yeah.
It feels like that's what this was. I mean, it's not bad, but I thought the movie was over.
Right.
It ends up ripping Kay apart, too. Not just on its way out.
Oh boy.
Yeah, squeamish fucking movie. It's for the best you didn't see it.
Yeah, no, I think I made the right decision.
Gnarly fucking movie. But it ends with Rain surviving, and she puts herself in a cryo sleep, and she's the last survivor of the whatever the ship is called. Just like Ripley was the last one on the Nostromo.
Right.
And yeah, overall, I think this is pretty good. I feel like my plot summary of it's a little glib, and I skipped over a lot of stuff for sure. But all in all, this is pretty much almost exactly what I was expecting.
Alrighty.
If anything, I'm quite relieved there weren't more eye-rolling, oh, right, yeah, because it's an alien movie. It's pretty much Get Away From Her, You Bitch, the Ian Holm face replacement, and also there's a bit where he goes, I won't lie to you about your chances, but you have my sympathy, which is yet another line from the original Alien where I'm just like, okay, yep, alright. Cool. I think that about wraps this up.
Alrighty.
In which case, thanks so much for listening, everybody. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe.
Ring the like button and smash that bell.
I really gotta get back into saying that earlier. Next week, strap in, boys. We're watching The Crow.
Yeah, we did the whole cinema synergy on it, so we gotta commit to it.
Yeah, keep an eye out for that, coming out on Friday, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, there's also Blink Twice. And I might try to see both, but I'm not holding my breath. And if I have to pick one, well, I haven't been sitting through editing Cinema Synergy to not go watch the new The Crow.
Right. The new Crow,
The new Crow,
The new Crow,
So look forward to that, but until then, this has been Under the Bridge with Cody, aka the Starlit Troll.
And with Greg, aka Greg.
And we'll catch you all next week.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye!